Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is DJ, the Money Coach, coming to you live. I am excited because we are launching a brand new show. It's something I've been wanting to do from day one back in April of 2020, since I am known as DJ, the Money Coach, and most of you know why I'm called DJ, the Money Coach, but some of you don't. I'm actually called DJ, the Money Coach, because I actually used to coach sports, and I did a very great job coaching sports teams for my children for about 15 years, and also coach other children in baseball, basketball, and things of that nature. And I always had my own sports show way back in the day. I'm going to date myself, ladies and gentlemen. So I used to run a show called Sports Scope back in 1989, 90, and 91 when I went to Columbia, and I actually was going to get and finish my degree in broadcast journalism and sports production, which I did. So I did a show that was very successful for a period of time before I delved off into other things in the financial world. And then fast forward to 2008, I think it was, I decided to get back into the sports field, and I actually was fortunate enough to get onto ESPN radio in Houston, Texas, and do a little sports show. So sports have always been my passion. I played three sports in high school. I was a bowler. I was a baseball player. I dabbled, played a little bit of football, was good, but not good enough to really make any impact on the field. And I even made the swimming team. And then in college, I actually played college baseball, and I actually bowled in college, and did very well till I partied my way out of school. So I've always wanted to find myself somebody that I can just chop up sports with and talk about it just for the passion of it. And lo and behold, I think about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I ran into this super sharp genius that reminded me of myself when I was his age, and all I used to do is eat, sleep, drink, play sports, talk sports, do sports. And here it is. I'm sitting in the living room at his grandparents' house, and he's sitting there talking about sports, and nobody's really paying a lot of attention to him because it's primarily adults. But he got my attention because I love talking about sports. And here I stumble on a guy who knew more about sports than I did. And I said, you know what, Jax, if I ever get an opportunity to talk about sports again on any platform, you're going to be my guy and my partner. So, guys and gals, I'm happy to tell you that we're going to launch this pilot show. And the name of this show, I'm going to turn it over to Jax and let him introduce the name of the show. So, Jax, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great and I'm ready to start the show.
All right. So, what is the name of this new show, Jax?
Dropping dimes and stats with DJ and Jax.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So, guys, I want you to pay attention. This new show is called Dropping Dimes and Stats with DJ and Jax. And the star of this show is my main man, Jax. So, with that said, Jax, why don't you do us a favor? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how old you are, where you from, what sports you play, what things you like, and why you wanted to team up with DJ the Money Coach and just talk everything sports.
I am from Detroit, Michigan, but right now I live in Virginia. I play AAU basketball, I play tackle football, and really good at both. And the reason I wanted to start this show is because I like to talk sports and to have a good sports like talk show is like it's gonna be fun.
Okay, great stuff. So, hey, man, I can't help but to notice you got one of my favorite teams hanging up in the backdrop there. In the background, looks like the Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. So, what's the story behind the Seattle Seahawks flag? And if I'm not mistaken, look like you got on the Seattle Seahawks jersey as well. I should go down into my closet and pick up my Russell Wilson's jersey and my Seattle Seahawks flag as well, because I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan because of Russell Wilson, and also what they call the defense? What was the defense called at that
Legion of
time?
Boom.
Legion of Boom. Now here's the funny thing. I don't even think you were alive then. Were you alive when the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson was tearing up the NFL?
Yes, I was alive.
You were alive. You sure
Yes,
about that?
yes.
How old are you, Jax, if you don't mind me asking, buddy?
I am 12 years old.
You 12 years old. So when did the Seahawks win their first Super Bowl?
2015 against the Broncos, 43-8.
Was it 2015 or was it 2014? Didn't we had a
I
discussion
think I
before?
think it was that season.
You think it was that season? All right, because hey, the show is called The Stats. So we got to make sure we got our stats correct, right? So, how did you become a Seahawks fan?
I think that was cause that was just like when I was a baby, when I turned 2, right? That was really just the first Super Bowl I actually understanded. So I just went off of that and stayed with
Wait
the
a minute.
Legion.
Hold up. Hold up. You're telling me at 2 years old, you could understand a Super Bowl. Man, I can't even remember 5 years old. You remember 2 years old what the Super Bowl was about?
Yeah.
How so? I'm interested to know, man.
I just love the game of football. I just love sports. I love basketball, football. Those are my two main sports.
Okay. So, who turned you on to the Seahawks at 2 years of age, man? I'm like I said, I only remember one thing when I was 5 years old. I remember I ran across the street to Head Start with what it was called, and almost got hit by a van. And my mother gave me a great little whooping because she was so afraid that I could have got ran over. That's the only thing I remember at 5 years of age, yet alone 2 years old.
Yeah, I think the really nobody put me on as a Seahawks fan. I think I just became it. Because like I said, that was the first Super Bowl I could actually understand. And I thought at that time that was just the greatest team ever. So I just went with
Wow.
that. And my
So, at
dad is a Patriots fan, so
okay. All right. Your dad's a Patriots fan. So, what did you actually remember at 2 years old that was, stood out about the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson winning their first Super Bowl?
I just remember the hits. Like I remember the first play of the Super Bowl. It was a bad snap and it went like all the way back to like the 7 yard line. And then that just messed up like the entire drive. And then they just kept on going off that energy and kept on making plays on defense.
Okay. All right. So, with that said, you became a Seattle Seahawks fan. Were you disappointed when they fumbled the back to back championship the following year?
Yeah, that was kind of made me mad. I don't know why we didn't run the ball. But like I said, my dad is a Patriots fan, and that's the team we lost to.
Right, right. So, whose fault do you think it was that we lost that back to back Super Bowl and why they didn't make the right decision? Who do you attribute that to, Jax?
I think it's got to be the coach. It's got to be Pete Carroll. I don't know why he wouldn't run the ball. We had Marshawn Lynch at the time.
Do you recall the series of plays that led up to the play that actually won the game for the New England Patriots? I remember that like it was yesterday. Do you recall?
Yeah, I forgot his name, but it was number 15. It was a wide receiver. He had a good catch. And then it was like first and goal. First two, um, the first two end goals were like what were you doing? And then on like I think it was third or fourth and goal. It's 28-24. The Patriots are winning at the time, and then we decided to throw the ball. Decided to throw a slant route, and then they got picked off by Malcolm Butler. I'm pretty sure is his name.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But prior to that pickoff, Beast Mode had just driven the ball 2 carries in a row, actually to like the half a yard line on the goal. And it was really like second and goal to goal. I don't even think it was third and goal to goal. So the obvious choice was to give Beast Mode the ball. Now, here's where we're going to insert a little bit of politics. And I know that you're super smart, that you understand what politics are about a little bit. So, in this regard, what happens, Jax, when somebody wins the Super Bowl? What immediately happens on television when the person who wins the Super Bowl, who's the MVP, what immediately happens?
Um, they give a speech or they're celebrating.
Okay, so what's the first commercial we see after the MVP of the Super Bowl wins the Super Bowl? This is iconic and everybody knows this.
I don't know.
What? Okay, so when the MVP of the Super Bowl wins, the very first commercial they say is, "Hey, I'm going to Disney
Disneyland. Oh yeah.
Disneyland." Exactly. So guess what? They're selling that commercial to who? To people like you, young children and families, because they want them to celebrate the Super Bowl parade at Disneyland. So here's the optics. Would you rather have Beast Mode doing that commercial, or would you rather have Malcolm Butler doing that commercial? If I'm Disney, think about it. Beast Mode has locks.
Beast mode.
No, no, absolutely not. Because Beast Mode at that point in time, and here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna share. And see, here's where knowing who I am as a person, my audience can really relate to this, Jax. And you're gonna get to know me a little bit better as well. I always keep it 100% real. So, from an optic standpoint, Beast Mode at the time and still is today, he's very pro black. So, he was about empowering the community. That's not something necessarily at that time in 2015, 2016 that Disney wanted to embrace. Okay? Now, this might be a little bit above your pay grade, but the reality is, if they give the football to Beast Mode and he runs it into the end zone, he's now doing that commercial. And for Disney across the landscape, he doesn't come across as a family friendly person for the general population. Number one, he's not married, he doesn't have any young children, and he's known to do some things that the NFL does not really care for, that's now embraced today. Does that make sense? So the way I can sum this up for you, Jax, let's say right now that he wore a certain type of clothing that the NFL and Disney really didn't relate to. So they didn't want him to be doing that commercial. It's better to have somebody like Malcolm Butler, who was a clean shaven, young, sharp, professional black defensive back that looks more like somebody they could see going to Disneyland for the people that don't look like him. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But that's the primary reason that I, as DJ the Money Coach, know that Pete Carroll did not give that football to Beast Mode. And if for some reason Russell Wilson makes that touchdown pass, Russell Wilson is the ideal person that Disney would like to have on that commercial because he's the quarterback. Russell Wilson's married. He has young children. So he's going to have a broader appeal to the American landscape. Does that make sense, Jax?
So credit is a necessary function of our society to do anything. So you need to be able to have efficient access to credit, which is other people's money.
So if you practice in the pack and you make mistakes, then when you ask your teacher, what I do wrong here, she could tell you, and you go and take the test and you won't make those same stupid mistakes. So rehearse, plan, rehearse. And once you plan and once you rehearse, you're going to go out, and the next step is to take that step and take action.
But technically, since you have credit, I mean access to other people's money, wouldn't that put you in debt?
It does. It does put you in debt, but there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt. So, and that was actually a great question.
Hi, my name is Zena from the All Stars Money Program. The All Stars Money Program is a great program. It teaches you about things you wouldn't learn in school. Two of the things I learned is assets and investments. When I grew up, I want to be a business owner, and the program helped me understand like the things I have to go through to like have my business.
Let's fast forward. We now know that you are, a big Seattle, Seahawks fan. Tell us, what are your sports and what are your other favorite teams? And then let's get into right with up to date what's going on in the sports world for our first show.
My favorite NFL team, you should know now, is Seattle Seahawks. My NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks. And my college football team is the Michigan Wolverines.
Okay, all right. Now, you said you're from Detroit. Do you root for the Detroit Lions at all?
Yes, I do have a Lions jersey.
Okay, you do have a Lions jersey. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you tell me you went to a couple of Detroit Lion football games or something like that, like a Thanksgiving game or something before? So,
Yeah,
so, so you're a guy that travels to some very significant games, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
sometimes.
So tell us about your love for sports in of itself, and tell us about what sport you're playing right now.
I love sports because it cools off my mind and it's fun. And also, I have something to play for. And what was the other part of the question?
Yeah, what are some of the events that you've gone to? Okay, and what is the actual sport that you're playing right now?
Yeah, I've been to multiple Michigan college football games. I've been to like 3 Lions games. I haven't been to a Seahawks game yet, but that should happen soon.
Okay, all right. Let's put that on our bucket list. That we get you to a Seattle uh, Seahawks football game, so you can actually see them up and close. Okay, so you and I both, I went to in 2018 and I think 2019. I went to most of all the home football games for the Michigan Wolverines, and sat right there at the almost at the 50-yard line. And you know why that was, Jax? You know how I was able to go to those games?
Ah,
Actually, my cousin, my first cousin, who actually graduated from the University of Michigan, her sons played on the team. And so they had student tickets that they would give to me and my cousin Pete. And we would go and sit at the big house and have a great time. So you and I, we have that in common as well. Now, albeit I'm not a Detroit Lions fan because I'm from Chicago. So there's no way for me to be pulling for the Detroit Lions when I'm a Chicago Bear fan. Okay. But if the Bears are out of it and the Lions are still in it for the playoffs, then I'll pull for them a little bit. No big deal. Because you do have some great players on the Lions. So with that said, what's going on right now in sports world that you want to talk about as it pertains to August 6th? So when our audience watches this later on tonight or tomorrow in the replay, they can know that you are the man with all the stats. Talk to me, Jax. Talk to me.
a recent thing I want to talk about is NFL trade requests from two arguably, well, not arguably, it's really easy to tell. The best player for the Washington Commanders, in my opinion, Terry McLaurin, has requested a trade, but also Micah Parsons, he hasn't fully requested it yet, but Jerry Jones is not really, like, he doesn't really want to give him the money that Micah Parsons is asking for.
Okay, so that leads me to two questions. Number one, do you think that both of those players really want to be traded? Or do you think that's just a technique to try to get to the bag? How about answering that one for me?
I think I think they really want to be traded to get traded. Cause Micah, I don't really know about Micah, but Terry, I know he wants to get traded. But even though if Terry goes, I don't like I can't really see it happening. Cause they have a great young QB, Jaden Daniels. Their defense is getting even more stacked. And yeah, they have a pretty good offensive line too.
Okay, so I'm going to have to disagree with you. And this is where we have to go into our historical bag. And typically, number one players who have had great relationships with their existing franchise, they use this as leverage. Okay. So I want you to do a little bit of homework and go back and look at the last two or three major signings of similar players and positions that also requested trades, but end up signing with their existing team and became the highest paid player at their position. And I want you to tell me, is that a trend or is that just a one off? I already know the answer to that.
It's a trend for sure. Miles Garrett immediately popped up to my mind when you said that.
Exactly. Now, why did Miles Garrett pop up for you immediately?
Because personally, I think he's the best defensive player in the league. And he got paid a lot of money, and there was a lot of potential trade destinations. I'm pretty sure the GM was looking for offers, but eventually got paid a lot of money. Lots of money.
Right. So with that said, Jax, I want to ask you a question. Let's say in a perfect world, what do you want to do as an adult professionally? Because I know I have an idea that you want to do something in this realm. If everything worked out for you, what would you like to do as a professional?
I would be an NBA player.
Okay, so let's say Jax becomes a world class NBA player. Now, are you wanting to be an NBA player so you can make a lot of money, or is it because you actually love the game of basketball?
It's really both, but it's mainly on because I love the game of basketball.
Okay, so let me give you a historical lesson again. So, as it pertains to Miles Garrett, I agree with you 100%. Best defensive player in the league, hands down, not even close. However, if Miles Garrett was really a winner and he did demand a trade very adamantly, he would have taken a little less money to go win championships. Let me give you an example. And you too young to know this, but you might surprise me and notice. You ever heard of Reggie White? Okay. Do you know who Reggie White played for before he won a Super Bowl? I'll give you three guesses. The first two don't count. I'll give you a hint. This team just won the Super Bowl most recently.
The Eagles.
There you go. So Reggie White at the time was the greatest defensive player, only next to Lawrence Taylor. Reggie White got tired of losing in Philadelphia. Even though Philadelphia offered him far more money, Reggie White went to the Green Bay Packers, which everybody was surprised and thought that that's the craziest thing you can ever do because there's no way that you're going to win up in Green Bay. But Reggie White looked at the team, Brett Favre, the other players on the team, Mike Holmgren, and he said, you know what? They're missing one key piece in Green Bay. They're missing Reggie White and they're missing leadership. And I can insert myself in, I can attract other top tier free agents to Green Bay, And like Desmond Howard, we can win a Super Bowl. He took less money to go win in Green Bay, and his legacy became bigger, and he eventually made even more money than the biggest contract that Philadelphia can offer him. The reason why I'm bringing this up, Jax, is that today's player does not love the game. Like you said, both. There's a saying, you can't serve two gods at one time. You got to choose the one that you want. So if you want all the real big money and the legacy, choose winning in championships, and you will always get paid as much money as you desire. However, if you always choose the bag, like a lot of these players do, nobody's going to know their name. They're going to make a lot of money, but nobody's going to remember them. So as it pertains to today with Scary Terry, Micah Parsons, the true sign if they are really winners, they'll take a little less money to stay with a great team, especially for Scary Terry. The Cowboys, they ain't got a chance to win no championship this year, even if Micah Parsons is paid 10x more than everybody else. They're not winning a championship no time soon. However, Scary Terry, if he takes a little less money, they've got the right pieces around him with a great new leader, great coach, great management, and new ownership that he can be in position to win championships and actually make more money. And the reason why I say that, look at the Luka Doncic situation, which we're probably jumping into this too soon. However, Luka has just taken a 2+1 deal, 2 guaranteed years on a 3-year term, 3 years for $165 million. And people are like, wow, why did he go for the Supermax? Because he's playing it smart. He's going to take them 2 guaranteed years, play extremely well, get the Lakers back to where they need to be, get somewhere in the Western Conference Finals, and maybe, hopefully, get to the NBA Finals. And now he can use leverage. Instead of getting $300 million now, Jax, he can potentially at 29 get a $434 million contract, far more than he could have got today. You understand where I'm coming from? So with that said, I want you to reevaluate what you just said about Micah Parsons and Scary Terry. Do you really think they actually want to play football, or do they just really want the money?
They want the money.
Right. So what do you think is going to happen after they get the money? Do you think we're going to remember them if they don't win a Super Bowl?
Probably not.
Probably not. So they win financially, but in the terms of legacy and what the sport is really about, they lose because they'll just be another overpaid player that set out, threatened a trade that they weren't sincere about, only to get the money. We're blowing out everything. We're going to give you a master training, 3-hour course, 2 consultations. We're going to teach you how to build credit up to $100,000 interest-free for 18 months. Pay off your home in 7 to 10 years. And most importantly, create $8,333 a month passive income. It's a $997 course. You get it all today for $97. Hit that link and beat me to the master training.
Thinking out the box from where I stay. Am I wrong for saying that I choose another way? I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just cause everybody doing what they all do. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I call home. So am I wrong, thinking that we could be something for real? Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? But that's just how I feel. But that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel.
What else do we talk about today, given it's something else that I like to talk about, but I want to find out a little bit more about these NBA scenarios, the summer league that just finished, and preseason has just started in NFL. What are your thoughts on that, Jax?
Should be fun, but also none of the real stars are playing because, they don't want to get hurt. They might play a quarter just for some extra runs or practice. But yeah, season's coming up. I'm excited to see people on new teams, especially DK with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, DK with Aaron Rodgers. You think that's going to be a good fit? Do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers should have gotten rid of Pickett?
Pickens or Kenny
Pickens. I'm
Pickett?
sorry. Yeah, yeah, Pickens. Yeah, the receiver.
Yeah, George Pickens. I feel like he's DK Metcalf, but worse. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like DK, he's taller, more athletic, much better hands, and they both do cause a bit of problems, but that's for the game. We need that for the game of football because it's starting to get soft.
Okay, football's getting soft, so I think that Pickens is the 2025 version of what's his name that was with the Steelers that just ran off the rails. What's the
Antonio
AB
Brown.
Antonio Brown. And it's good that they got rid of him instead of rewarding him for his foolish, shenanigans. The other thing is the biggest thing this week. What's the biggest thing that everybody's going to be talking about and looking forward to on Friday in the NFL?
I don't know.
You don't know? You haven't heard?
No, what happened?
Jax, come on, man. Shador Sanders is going to start in the preseason game on Friday for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but that just means he's not starting for the regular season. I think that's
Okay.
what that means.
All right. So what do you think is going to happen? Because there's two scenarios that can happen here. One, he can play terrible, and they can be justified to cut him. Number two, if he plays lights out, like you were telling me how excited you were about Trey. What's his name? What's your guy's name? They just
Oh,
did the
Trey
season.
Young. Trey Young.
Trey Young, remember you were telling me how excited you're about his performance, and I told you this is the preseason. He's not playing against anybody. Now, however, if Shador has the same outcome production as Trey Young has, that's going to trigger a controversy at the QB spot because how many quarterbacks does the Cleveland Browns have in camp right now?
5. Chiefs 4 or 5.
Name them for me.
We got Joe Flacco, who I think is probably gonna start. Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador.
Who else? We just signed another guy.
The 5.
Just signed a guy 3 days ago.
I don't know.
Who used to be the backup for Lamar Jackson?
They get Tyler Huntley. I think is his
Yep,
name.
they just signed him. And even though he's not going to be physically able to play, he's going to be on the pup list. They still have Deshaun Watson. They got 6 quarterbacks. There's a saying, Jackson, in the NFL, if I got 2 quarterbacks, I don't have a quarterback. And all of this crazy dysfunction is going to be a circus on Friday. So the attendance is going to be the highest ever for a preseason game for them. It's going to be Showtime TV for everybody on the NFL because right now, Shador Sanders has got the #1 selling jersey in the whole NFL for a 5th-round pick. Never happened before. Have you ever seen anything like that in your 12 years on the planet? So what do you think is going to happen in this scenario, man? What do you think is going to happen on Friday?
I think Shador is just gonna have like a 2 touchdown game, maybe a pick, and like 200 yards.
Okay.
He's
Hey man,
playing until halftime or the whole game.
hey, I don't know how long he plays. If he plays well, they probably gonna let him keep playing as long as he plays well. Or if he's smart, if he gets in real quick, go 8 out of 10, drop a couple of dimes, get a tub on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
If
just
I'm him,
go because
take me out.
Yeah.
So here's the scenario, Jax. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. If I'm Shador Sanders, I have a great game. I may want to use that as leverage for me to get up out of Cleveland also. Because guess what? Just like I told you about Trae Young, what is this an opportunity for Shador Sanders to do for the league?
Um, get money, get out of Cleveland because that's not a good scenario for him.
To showcase to all the other 31 teams, I am better than a fifth round draft pick, and I should have been drafted in the first 10 picks overall, and you guys can get a steal. Some people believe what I believe, worst thing could have happened to him for him to even get drafted since he dropped down so far. He should have been a free agent, so he could have chose the right scenario for him to be able to win. Now, even though Cleveland is a good opportunity because there's really no quarterback in Cleveland, but he's not really wanted at Cleveland. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. So, with that said, what's your prediction? He's going to have a great game, cause a quarterback real controversy, or is he going to, as we call, he's going to, crap the toilet, and they're going to use that as a legitimate reason to cut him? What do you think is going to happen?
I think he's gonna have a good game, but I think he's gonna use that as leverage to get out. And I actually think, like, I have a prediction of what team he could possibly go to.
Okay, so is this an exclusive? You about to drop some nuggets for us? So what team is that? So we can put it on record because when it happens, we're gonna call you the Oracle. Okay?
The Saints, even though they got Tyler Shaw,
Mm-hmm.
he's a 26-year-old as a rookie
Right.
and was in college for like 7 years, and he's not better than Shador.
When's the last time a 26-year-old rookie panned out in the NFL? Never. So you might be right. So guys, you heard it right here. Jax is predicting that Shador Sanders is going to have a great game. I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, Jax, you said he's going to put 200 yards up. He's going to throw a couple of tubs and maybe one INT, but he's going to light it up on Friday, right? And when he lights it up on Friday, he's going to have leverage. And you're saying he's going to end up at the New Orleans Saints, correct? So we got this on recording. So when it happens, I want you guys to know that this is the reason why I'm teamed up with Jax. Because Jax knows everything about sports, baby. He comes with the stats, he comes with the enthusiasm, and he knows his stuff.
So credit is a necessary function of our society to do anything. So you need to be able to have efficient access to credit, which is other people's money.
So if you practice in the pack and you make mistakes, then when you ask your teacher what I do wrong here, she could tell you, and you go and take the test and you won't make those same stupid mistakes. So rehearse, plan, rehearse. And once you plan and once you rehearse, you're gonna go out, and the next step is to take that step and take action.
But technically, since you have access to other people's money, wouldn't that put you in debt?
It does. It does put you in debt. But there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt. So, and that was actually a great question.
Hi, my name is Dina from the All Stars Money Program. The All Stars Money Program is a great program. It teaches you about things you wouldn't learn in school. Two of the things I learned is assets and investments. When I grew up, I wanted to be a business owner, and the program helped me understand like the things I have to go through to like have my business.
So what else do we talk about before we close out this first show with DJ and Jax, dropping these dimes and these stats?
Um, I guess we could just talk about how teams' rosters are gonna look for the start of the NBA and NFL season.
Okay. Well, hit me up. Hey man, drop the science, drop the stats on me, baby. Tell me what I can look forward to. Cause before
Um,
you say anything, let me preface this. I don't watch NBA regular season games because they're boring to me. I only watch the playoffs. So you educate me, educate our people, so we can have something to look forward to. But I also love watching college football, which is on the horizon. I'm more excited about college football happening than the NBA. And I love March Madness during the regular season. So drop some knowledge on us on what we can expect, what's going on with the NBA and the moves and everything. And let's talk about the Luka Doncic situation, and let's talk about what else is going on in the NBA real quickly.
so I start off with the NBA rosters.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna talk about the biggest trade so far for this offseason.
And which one is that?
KD to the Rockets for Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks.
Now I'm excited because I'm right here in H Town, baby. So tell me, are you for that or you against it? Because I think I told you in advance that KD was most likely going to land in Houston. Not because I'm in Houston, but it just seemed it was a great fit. So talk to me about that one.
I think the Rockets are about to have an insane year. They have the scorer and the leader. Well, I guess you could call KD a leader, but like not really though. But they got the scorer they desperately needed because in that series against the Warriors, it was bad. Like
Yeah, because they just needed somebody to get buckets. They got crazy D, and I know you love your guy, and my son loves what's the guy's name? They got the twin brother, Asur. What's his
Amin
name?
Thompson.
Amin Thompson. He's crazy defense, but his offense will come down the road. So with KD having the ability to get a bucket at any time, any place, anywhere, I think that's a great fit. Him not really being a true leader like Steph and LeBron, he's not going to upset the apple cart because he's not going to be trying to tell people what to do. He's just going to get buckets. So that allows the young, Lions to be able to grow and have confidence because they know when they need a bucket, he's the guy and he can still play some D.
I think I think it was a good trade for both. Also, I like what the Rockets did signing Clint Capella, even though they have four bigs now, because also included in that trade, they got a lottery pick from the Suns, who they drafted the center from Kentucky. And yeah,
Who's
they
who's,
have
who's the
four
center from
bigs.
Kentucky? Educate me on that. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Um, I don't know his name by heart, but I know what he looks like. I know exactly how he plays like. But yeah, he's good. He's not gonna get like 20 minutes a night.
So you
But
think Clint coming back, he's going to be a rim protector, which they
definitely
they
I
needed.
think I think they're gonna do their double big lineup because that's how they did it against the Warriors. They had two bigs in with Steven Adams and Sengun in. Yeah, they play really great defense. They played a zone with that, and they were able to kind of stop Curry until last two games of the series.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. They definitely had a better team. They were the number 2 seed. They should have won that series going away. But the lack of having somebody can get buckets, and that's primarily the reason why they got rid of Jalen Green, because he was just an athlete who hasn't put any work in or refined his game. So I thought they may have given up a little bit too much for KD, but for the short term, win now, I think it can be a great situation and a great fit all around chemistry wise. One thing I do know about basketball, although I don't watch the regular season, when it comes down to winning championships, you got to have chemistry and you got to have the right pieces and you got to have the right players that have to be unselfish. And then you got to have a go to guy that can get you buckets when buckets are needed. And I think the Rockets solved that and they got one of the best coaches in the league. So, with that saying, what are some other rosters that we should be looking at for the NBA? And then we can talk a little bit, college football. Then we're gonna, wrap up this first show because we're gonna come back live with you, ladies and gentlemen. Because right now you're watching the inaugural season show pilot with my main man Jax, and this show is gonna be off the charts. We're gonna come with more stats, more fun, more facts because you're watching Dropping Dimes and Stats with DJ and Jax.
You ever wondered what it feel like to disconnect from the world and just live in paradise? Here we go. This is our property in Zanzibar, Tanzania, one of the most exotic and coveted locations in the world, full of one of the last places you can actually eat, drink, and consume organically. At our lovely reception area. And take a look at the landscape and all of the real plants, trees, fruits, and vegetables, and everything you need to live a happy life. So here at Escape to Zanzibar, we help you escape to paradise and bliss and peace, to reset and redirect where you want your life to go. So hey, don't just take my word for it. Come experience it yourself. I'll see you soon.
We're blowing out everything. We're going to give you a master training, 3-hour course, 2 consultations. We're going to teach you how to build credit up to $100,000 interest-free for 18 months. Pay off your home in 7 to 10 years. And most importantly, create $8,333 a month. Passive income. It's a $997 course. You get it all today for $97. Hit that link and beat me to the master training. Talk to us, Jackson. We're going to wrap up this first show and we're going to come hit them back on the weekend to give them an update of everything that's transpired because I want to talk about something at a lower level, but I want you to cue us in on what else we can expect on the NBA side or even kicking off with the NCAA football season coming up because that's right around the horizon, brother.
Yeah. Also, another roster that I like is my team. I think it's kind of biased, but I have to talk about them. Is the Mavs. We have a great roster. Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd have been talking about how they've been wanting to kind of put Cooper Flag at point guard and have the biggest lineup in the league.
Really? I
Yeah,
haven't heard that. Is that because Kyrie is not going to be playing for a while due to his
yeah.
Achilles?
Kyrie's coming back in either mid-January or February, depends how it works out. But yeah, I also do like our so far our only real good off-season move besides Cooper Flag. Um, Signing D'Angelo Russell.
Okay, so you like D-Lo. What is it about D-Lo game you like? He's going to
Um,
slide into the point guard to
yeah,
replace Kyrie for a moment?
what I learned from the past 2 seasons, we need that veteran and that shooter against the Celtics in the finals. We we're playing horrible. We only shot like 30% from 3 that series. And then we eventually lost. And then in the play-in tournament against the Grizzlies, we could have hit no threes in the first quarter. But yeah, I think we would have definitely made the playoffs if Kyrie didn't tear his Achilles. And I also think the Pacers would have won the finals if Hallie didn't tear his Achilles. Because he was off to a really hot start.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. And it seems that a lot of Achilles are happening, just like Tommy John surgery in baseball. And I think that's something that we'll talk about a little bit in depth on our next show. The prominence and the predictable major injuries that happen to these young players. And I think that's primarily because they are not doing the same types of exercises and playing multiple sports as when I was growing up. You yourself, you play AAU basketball. You play what other sport you play as well? You play some football also. So it used to be a time, Jax, and I'm dating myself a little bit, my guy, is that every season we played whatever that sport was. So I played baseball, I played football, I played basketball, you know, I played tennis. So I was able to use all different aspects of my body so that I didn't overuse a certain isolated, part or muscle, which actually would cause it to, tear or rip or explode prematurely. And also in terms of the quality of gym shoes and stuff that they're wearing now. So that'll be something that we'll talk in terms of the economics of the game. Because here's the thing we're going to be excited about bringing people is a scope on the sports themselves, but we're going to talk a lot about the financial aspect of the business of sports because I am DJ the Money Coach and I know a lot about money as it pertains to sports. And one of the things I'm excited about teaming up with you, Jax, is we'll get a chance to talk about NIL, social media, and the impact for your generation. It's something that you know far more than I'll ever know about that we can keep the people excited and up to date on. So the one thing I want to do before we get out of here, I don't know about you, but you ever played baseball? Never played baseball. Okay, well, good. Well, I'll be our residential baseball pro. Okay. So I want to talk about real quickly, about 2 minutes. I want to commend our baseball team here. The Lamar Little League just won the Southwest Championship to make it to Williamsport. And that's the first time our Little League team has made it to Williamsport since 2007. And I actually, Dax, yesterday watched the entire game. We used to play at Lamar Little League. My sons played. I coached over there. So it was spectacular. And this is one of the biggest things at this time of the year where the summer is kind of dead because there's no major sport being played, that the Little League World Series draws more fans even than the WNBA. Think about it. So what I'm going to challenge you, my friend Jax, I'm going to challenge you to watch some Little League World Series baseball and tell me what you think about it. Because matter of fact, tonight, there's 2 games on ESPN that are coming on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then there's the championships coming on to get to Williamsport on Friday as well. So we're going to do our next show most likely on Sunday or Monday. And we're going to give everybody a wrap up of everything. And we're going to be excited about the prediction that Jax is going to make come true with Shedeur Sanders. We're going to talk about the Little League World Series. We're going to talk a little bit about more moves that may have or may not be made in the NBA. And we're going to talk about the performances of some of the people that I'm interested in looking at in the first couple of games. They said that even Aaron Rodgers may take a couple of snaps. I doubt that'll happen. But there's going to be a lot of great preseason games coming up this weekend on Friday and Saturday. And that's something we want to look forward to. So what would you like to leave our new fans and family with, Jax, on our first show to get the season off to a great start? What would you like to say in conclusion?
I'm looking forward to continue this, and it's gonna be fun.
Man, words never been better spoken and concise and short to the point. So, on behalf of Jax, I'm DJ, and you're dropping the dimes and stats with DJ and Jax. So, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to our new show that's going to come out every Tuesday and every Sunday to get you up to date with all the sports, all the fun, and all the stats about money and life in sports with yours truly, DJ the Money Coach, and my main man, Jax. So, Jax, welcome to the platform. Thanks for carrying me on this sports show, and I look forward to many more awesome shows with you and me. We'll see you guys next time.
So credit is a necessary function of our society to do anything. So you need to be able to have efficient access to credit, which is other people's money.
So if you practice in the pack and you make mistakes, Then when you ask your teacher what I do wrong here, she could tell you, and you go and take the test and you won't make those same stupid mistakes. So rehearse, plan, rehearse. And once you plan and once you rehearse, you're gonna go out, and the next step is to take that step and take action.
But technically, since you have access to other people's money, wouldn't that put you in debt?
It does. It does put you in debt. But there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt. So, and that was actually a great question.
Hi, my name is Dina from the All Stars Money Program. The All Stars Money Program is a great program. It teaches you about things you wouldn't learn in school. Two of the things I learned is assets and investments. When I grew up, I want to be a business owner, and the program helped me understand the things I have to go through to have my business.